Welcome to practice. We're going to begin seated today, and sitting up onto a blanket can be very useful for helping to lift the spine. Just a comfortable seat for your legs, which might not be cross-legged, maybe legs out straighter. And closing your eyes and just noticing how you land in this position. Where the weight is in your body. So letting that groundedness be evident, the weight of your body, the density of your bone, feeling now the flow of the breath. When you inhale, the space of the inhalation, the expansion of the lung. And see if there's some room to lift the spine, to lengthen. Relax your shoulders. So that you can feel now both the grounded sensation and that sensation of lift. We're going to feel the flow of the breath and just start to sway from side to side with that flow. Let it be a wave-like movement for your spine. If you let your side rib lead the movement and your spine sway. Good. And then we're going to keep swaying from side to side. Open your eyes if you like, because we're going to turn the torso at the same time to the right. So the right ribs are leading the spine as far as we can to the right. And then back to center. And then let the left rib turn as far as you can to the left, turning your whole torso. And the left ribs are leading the spine to the left. Feeling that flow of breath. And then coming back to center, letting the swaying movement become smaller and smaller until you find yourself centering and lengthening your spine. Sitting with the flow of breath, both the groundedness and the reaching of the body. Good. We're going to lean back now and bring the feet in front and hold onto your knees. You can keep your feet on the floor if you need to, or you can balance. Ooh. And we're going to sway a little bit the legs to the left and the torso to the right. So legs to the right, torso to the left. Just a little reaching movement for the spine, the torso. Keep that feeling of the spine really lengthening. So feel the core of your body stabilizing your back. Feeling the flow of breath. Nice work. Centering, finding that strong core and balance there. Beautiful. If you can let go of your hands, do that. Try to have the legs around parallel. And releasing. And we're going to sit in a kneeling position. So kneeling is not for every knee, but strangely, it can feel when you have a knee injury. Strangely, it is very good for the circulation, healthy movement of your knees. So I've just doubled over a blanket and put that under the sit bones so that my knees are more comfortable when I kneel. And that could be any height. Now, if you're unable to do that, what you're going to do is sit with your legs out in front. But maybe if you had a knee injury, you would have to just gently squeeze that foot in as far as you could go so that you get the feeling of the biggest angle you can with closing your knee, or the smallest angle you can. Good, so you could try that on both sides. Otherwise, you're kneeling with your feet hip width and parallel. You might be used to kneeling with your toes touching. Try hip width and parallel. The inside edge and the outside edge of the ankles will be even in length. And then let's come back to feeling the groundedness of your seated posture and lengthening your spine. Beautiful. We're going to take the arms up by the ears. Give yourself a nice big stretch. Make it a moving one so you're reaching to, let's see, what can we do? Pick fruit as high as you can. And then we're going to draw the shoulder blades down and try to straighten your arm. Draw your thumbs back and the small fingers up, but relax the back of the neck. So check that you feel spacious in the neck. We want to lengthen the armpits. So we feel the reach of the body here and the groundedness. Sink the hips down, the legs down, but reach the belly, the ribs, the arms up. Beautiful. And then releasing. We're going to kneel up now. Tuck the toes under. You can have your hands on the floor in front if the stretch is too strong in your feet, or you might be able to put your sit bones onto your heels. Draw your shoulder blades down. Good. Let the weight be evident, but lengthen the spine. Nice big stretch for the toes and the feet. Good work. If it's too intense, you just put your hands back on the floor in front so you can determine a little less weight to the feet. Great. And then we're going to be in forward virasana. So release your feet. Hopefully they're still intact. Big toes touching. We'll reach the arms forward. And finding the breath. Notice again the weight of your body. The anchoring here of the feet and the shins and the knees. The weight of the thighs and the pelvis. Your anchor. And then lengthen the spine, the armpits, the arms. Feel that spacious flow of breath as you allow more and more room into your back. Nice work. Lift up and bring the knees in so they're hip width for a puppy dog pose. I've heard this called. We're going to have the forearms on the floor, and you're going to take your chest towards the front of the legs. It says preparation for forearm balance. And again, let the weight be expressed through the legs. The movement of the hips back towards the heels. But feel the spine lengthening. And where you can allow space in your body, the shoulders, between the shoulder blades, back of the neck. Feeling the flow of breath. Nice work. And then up into downward facing dog pose. We're going to take a shorter distance from the hands to the feet. So walk your feet forward or your hands back so that you can press your heels closer to the floor. We're going to lift the hips higher now. So we've been anchoring the hips and the legs. But here we press the feet and anchor, but lifting the sit bones. Use the weight of the pelvis as you draw the hips back towards the wall behind you. And then let the spine elongate. And it's not a lift here, but more like a waterfall. Like a river flowing. Pressing your fingerprints, the base of your fingers. Feel the lift in the front of your leg as the heels anchor. Nice work. We're going to bring the knees to the floor. Keep your toes tucked under. Good. Walk your hands back. And again, if you can, take your hands off the floor and you can let that weight of the hips descend down onto your heels, then do that, but lengthening the spine. We're going to take the arms up by the ears. Really trying to straighten through the arms, draw the shoulder blades down. Beautiful. And then forward Virasana. Release your toes. Knees out wide and the arms reaching forward. Letting your back broaden and lengthen. Appreciating the flow of breath. Such a beautiful pose for easing out tightness in the back. An old yoga buddy. Beautiful. All right, walk your knees in so they're hip width. We're going to keep the hips over the knees and walk the hands further forward. So we're keeping the elbows off the floor this time. And again, kind of like that puppy dog pose. Bring the chest towards the floor so the armpits are lengthening. Easing the spine forward. Feeling the weight of the pelvis directly over the knees. Nice work lifting up and be in downward facing dog pose. So we'll take more a traditional distance here, so your heels might not be quite on the floor. And your hands are shoulder width, your feet are hip width. We're pressing the fingerprints, the base of the index fingers. Feel the heels anchoring down, and then the front of the legs lifting, the back of the legs lifting, and the weight of the pelvis moving back. Feeling the spine flowing, breath flowing. Now we're going to bring the shoulders forward into a plank position. So if you haven't quite got enough room to get your knees in line with your shoulders and your feet, then walk your feet back a little bit. We want to bring the hips into that line of shoulders and heels, but we're going to lengthen the lower back. So we're really lifting the front core of the body and looking forward, pressing your fingerprints, the base of your index fingers, feeling the flow of breath. Good. Lower your knees to the floor. Take your whole torso back, walk your hands back, and resting in child's pose. And here, use this to explore letting the back relax broader and longer. Letting your hands and your arms and your shoulders relax. And staying tuned into that flow of breath. Always present. Even when the going gets tough. Good. We're going to lift up, tuck the toes under, and then we're going to walk the hands forward until you're in a plank position again. Nice wide, even spaces for your fingers, and then lifting the knee. Pressing the fingerprints down, elbows a little bit bent, pressing out just above the elbows. Nice straight line from shoulders to feet. Feeling the front core of the body lifting. Knees slowly to the floor. Child's pose. Feeling the flow of breath. Where the body feels heavy and where there is a lightness. And then one more plank pose. So bring the knees to parallel. Good. And walk your hands forward from here. So tuck your toes under. Just noticing how you place your hand. Nice wide fingers. Really keep your fingers straight. Good. And then lift your knee. We're aiming for that nice straight line from your heels to your shoulders. Lifting the front of the gathering the core strength, keeping the back of the neck long. And then slowly, slowly lowering the heels to the floor. Child's pose. Letting your back feel broad. Long. Good. We're going to come up to standing from here. So I'm going to kneel up and tuck the toes under, roll back into a squat and stand. But however it works for you to come up to standing. And coming to the front of the mat. Feeling the groundedness of the feet. Then we start lifting from there, lifting the front of the leg, the belly, the breastbone, the top of the head. Let's take the arms up by the ears, Urdhva Hastasana, drawing the shoulder blades down. Back of the neck relax. Feeling the flow of breath. Beautiful. We're going to hold onto our elbows and make a forward bend without making a hunchback. So bones of the spine forward and elbows forward. Reach as far forward as you can. Some people can happily hang their elbows down to the floor, but don't make a hunchback to do that. So keep that feeling of a little back bend shape. Good. And then we're going to sway gently the torso from side to side. And then we'll start to stretch more in one leg and then the other. So finding your flexibility. And to let your head relax now, neck relax. Beautiful. And then we're going to lift up and arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. All right, this time for Garudasana arms. Cross your left arm over your right upper arm. And you can hold your shoulders here, or you can reach to hold your thumb or your palm. Let's draw the shoulder blades down, make a little back bend. And keeping that feeling in your spine, forward bend again. Reaching the top of the head as far forward as you can. And then we're going to sway side to side. Might notice with the swaying that you start to lengthen those muscles that are often tight at the side of your lower back. So you get a little bit more forward movement closer to the hips here. The weight of the pelvis is anchored over the feet. And we elongate the spine, feeling the flow of breath. So finding your center, reach the top of the head as far forward as you can, trying to avoid the hunchback feeling. So feel the weight of your spine, pressing forward. Flow of breath. As you lift up, arms up, look up. And release your arms. So we do the other side, right upper arm over the left. Holding either your shoulders or holding your thumb or face the palm. Lift the arms up, draw the shoulder blades down, spine forward, little bit of a back bend shape, and then forward bend. Ooh. And then we're going to sway from side to side. So notice how when you sway, you start to lengthen the lower back. And finding your center. Reaching the top of the head as far forward as you can. Your fingers down near the floor. Reaching them forward. bones of the spine pressing forward. Good. And then we're going to roll up and release your arms and bring your arms up by your ears. Urdhva Hastasana. Looking up. Nice work. And then Hadasana. Beautiful. We're going to step the whichever foot out, so wide-legged position to the long side of your mat. Good. Wardrobe malfunction. All right, let's do toes in. So your feet are a little bit wider than your leg is long. We're going to make a forward bend. And then walk your hands over to your left foot. So nice and strong and straight in your legs, and feel your feet press down. So that's your anchor. But then we start to lift. So we're lifting the front of the leg, the back of the legs, and we're going to reach the torso here, particularly the right arm. So the further you can reach to the left with your right arm, the bigger the opening for the right side of the body. Let the spine be dense. Pressing towards the front of the torso. So legs are strong and they're lifting, neck is relaxed. Feel the flow of breath. Beautiful. Walk your hands over to the right side. Try to keep your legs straight here and lifting. And the further you reach to the right side with your left hand, left side of the body, the bigger the stretch there. Feeling the breath. And then back to center. We're going to hold the feet or the legs with the hands and lift your spine and look forward. And then keep looking forward, but let the spine be dense and press it into the front of your torso. Good. And then we're going to reach the top of the head forward or down to the floor. And you're breathing with the legs lifting, the back of the legs lifting. Take the shoulder blades back. So you want to avoid the shoulders falling down to the ears. Keep space there. Feel the groundedness of the feet and the lift of the legs and the lengthening of the spine. Beautiful work. All right. We're going to lay on our left side. So I'm going to just put my hands on the floor under the shoulders, pick up the left foot and reach it to the right foot. So I'm down on my left hip. All right. We're going to put the left elbow under the left shoulder. Now wiggle your knees back. They want to be forward, but we want to wiggle them back so they're at least in line with your left hip. Beautiful. We're going to keep this left shoulder. Don't let it just, don't collapse so the shoulder's poking away from you. Really powerfully draw it in towards the mid of your body. And then we're going to lift up onto the knee. Nice. And we're going to lower and lift. You want to stay feeling really strong in your left shoulder. Lowering and lifting. Lowering. Nice work. And then we're going to swap around to the second side. I'm going to swivel to face forward and then change my legs around to the other side. Put your knees as much as you can behind the line of the hips. We try to wiggle them back. Good. And your right elbow underneath your shoulder. Now watch that tendency to just sink down so your shoulder pokes away from you. Really feel powerful there in drawing the shoulder in. Nice work. And then we're going to lift hip and lower and lift, lower. Good, couple more. Nice work. And then we're going to lay down. Take your arms overhead and your legs will be in a neutral position, hip width, feet hip width and parallel. Arms overhead, let's face the palms towards each other like we were doing in Urdhva Hastasana. Letting the shoulders become broader, the neck more relaxed, but really extending the arm. So we have the anchor of our back body, the soles of the feet, but really reaching the sides of your waist now. Good. Turn the palms up to the ceiling. Feel what the change is in the armpit. Great. Now we're going to bring going to bend the arm, and we're going to bring the hand for an Urdhva Dhanurasana position, a bridge pose position. They're going to be near, fingers pointing towards your shoulders and palms facing down. And just as much as you can, bring your arms so that they're parallel. And we try to press down through the palm. And then we're going to walk the heels closer to the sit bones. Try just lifting your hips up off the floor, keeping your feet flat on the floor to start with. Don't try to lift your upper body off the floor. We're just preparing for this posture. But do try to press your hands down evenly to the floor. And keep your neck relaxed and long. Okay, so there's stage one. And then we'll release the back to the floor. Bring your hands in front of you and press the whole backs of your hands together. And then bring your wrist towards you, but your elbows away, and you'll get a stretch in the other direction for your wrist. Beautiful. And then we're going to repeat, maybe adding a little bit more lift. So try and find your hand position. Palms face the floor, fingers face the shoulders, and arms are pretty parallel. Legs are parallel. So if we lift the hips up again now, press your hands down evenly as you can to the floor. Maybe even walk the feet closer to the sit bones so you're right up onto the balls of the feet, and you'll see you can lift your hips higher. Pressing your hands. Some people might feel like, oh, I could lift my shoulders a little bit off the floor. Or not. Just getting used to the shape. But press strongly into your hands. Imagine you could lift your shoulders. Ooh. Beautiful. And then we're going to release. Bring the backs of the hands together. And give yourself a stretch in your wrist. Nice work. Arms out from the sides of your body now. Palms up. And we're going to cross or bring the feet together, inside edges of the feet. Cross your left leg over your right. Lift your hips and place them a little to the left. And then we're going to take the knees towards the floor on the right. We try to keep the left shoulder blade very relaxed onto the floor. And you can face over your left arm and close your eyes if you like. letting the weight of your body and the shape of the posture do the work, so that your awareness is free to take in flow of breath, where you may be able to relax a little more into letting go. Mm. And then coming up to center, gathering your core strength when you move in that way. And then right leg over the left. Lift the hips and place them a little right of center, and the legs go left. The right shoulder blade stays down, and you can face over your right arm. You let your legs go as far as they will. You could always put your blanket under them if there was some reason you needed support. And then leaving your awareness free. You observe the breath, always there. Notice if you can give in a little more posture. And then gathering your core strength to lift your leg. We're going to grab the blanket, and it's to go underneath the pelvis. And bamboo pose. The idea is that the tailbone is supported on your blanket, and then your lower back will sink down towards the floor, and the belly will hollow and broaden, and that the legs will just balance. Now, it might be that you don't get that feeling that your legs are not doing anything. You might feel like your back and your core is working very hard to hold your legs there. If that's the case, you're better to just put your feet on the floor and let the belly relax and the back relax. Otherwise, you're balancing in your bamboo pose, and your arms might be out from the side or resting on your belly or cactus arm or even overhead. Whatever feels nourishing for your shoulders and chest. You've got room to breathe. Notice what is grounded here. And the lighter feeling of the leg. Such a lovely inversion. That's full. Bringing in your arms and your legs. Again, or take out your blanket. Hug your knees into your chest. Rocking a little bit from side to side, lengthening your lower back. People who would like to stay for relaxation can put your legs out to straight. And if you need to finish your practice, roll to your right from here. And namaste. Making yourself comfortable. It's a cold morning here. Putting as much of your back body to the floor as you can, so that the buttocks feel broad, the sacrum broad, the back of the leg, either side of your spine, back of your head, back of your arms and hands. Feeling that connection to your support, the floor of your building, the earth beneath. And in the substance of the body, there is still lightness, spaciousness, the flow of the breath. Bring your attention, your focus to your feet and toes. Notice just how they feel. Which parts feel heavy and which parts feel light. Notice the length of your leg, the broadness of your leg. And now your hips and buttock, around your sacrum and your lower back. Let that part of your body rest, supported by the floor. Pelvic bones dense, vertebra dense. Feel the organs of the belly relax, spacious. Feel the muscle either side of your spine, forward, relax, bones of the spine relax. All the way to behind the shoulders. Feel the rib cage, broad and relaxed, but also spacious with the breath. Notice the movement of the torso, the chest with the breath. Feel the shoulders and armpits, noticing just how they feel. The upper arms, the elbows, and forearms, wrists, palms, the thumb, and the backs of your hands and your fingers. The back of your neck now, your throat. The base of your skull, scalp, forehead, your face, around your nose, the cheek, around your mouth, lips, tongue, jaw, let your ears tune inward to the quiet or the sound of your own breathing. Breath by breath. Moving gently out of stillness, just by wiggling fingers and toes, hands and feet, wrists and ankles, arms, elbows, shoulders, legs, knees, hips, and rolling to your right side. Mm. And when you're ready, come up and have a seat. and together in front of your heart. Namaste. Thank you for joining.